Hey, today we're talking about when you're too comfortable. We're wrapping up this great series on Peter, the Apostle Peter, and following Jesus. And he wasn't perfect, but Peter really had a strong impact on the early church. And he was very busy. He was doing a great work, but he still stumbled. And sometimes we get very comfortable in our success, very comfortable in our walk with God. We've been walking with God for a long time, but there's still a chance to stumble. There's still a chance to fall. There's still an enemy that's out looking to trip you up. We're all flawed. We're all messed up. But there's some things to remember. Number one, and Peter writes this in his letter as he's old now, and he's writing his letter to the church as he's nearing the end of his life. And he was killed in Rome. But he writes this in First Peter in chapter 5 is really interesting. He says, "Stay humble. So humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and at the right time, he will lift you up." Just stay humble. Peter knows that. He says, "Man, I know that. I thought I was here to help Jesus become the Messiah and rule. And I realized I need Jesus. He doesn't need me." And some ways to stay humble is just acknowledge your dependency on God. We need God to live. We need God to be saved. He gives us the ability to believe his grace and mercy is extended to us. Thank God for everything you have, the food, the roof over your head, your health, your ability to be successful. Everything comes from God, your talents. And then serve. Use your abilities to serve and help others. Peter realized that. He was good at using his gifts to heal the sick, raise the dead, preach the gospel. That's what Peter did. And then he writes and says, stay alert. Look at this. He says, stay alert. Watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. I mean, he is going to trip you up. He's going to cause you to have some problems. Even though you've been a Christian for a long time, don't get too comfortable. Don't lower your guard. Don't take a rest and say, you know what? I'm okay. I've been a Christian for a long time. Now, always be alert, looking around. A couple things to remember: anticipate potential pressure situations. And then when you have a pressure situation, say no without apology. Just say, no, I'm not going to do that. Don't say, no, I got to go home. No, it's getting late. Just say no. And think about the consequences. When you're going to do something, say, yeah, how is that going to affect my reputation, the people I know, my friends? Magnify the consequences and then simply walk away. God always gives you a way to walk out. And Peter knew that. He said, man, I could have walked away from that fire when I was sitting there in the courtyard. Could have walked away easily. And he says, you all have a chance to walk away. And then a third thing Peter says is pursue godly friends. He infers that when he writes this and says, I've written and sent this short letter to you with the help of Silas, whom I commend to you as a faithful brother. Silas was one of those encouragers in the early church. He accompanied the Apostle Paul on 2 of his missionary trips. He was there that was in prison with Paul and sang songs while they were in jail. And now he's befriended Peter and he's taken this letter to the churches. He was a faithful brother. Just surround yourself with people that are godly and will give you good advice. Peter, later on in his life, still stumbled. Yeah, he stumbled when he was young and he stumbled when he was old. Paul writes to the Galatian churches and says, you know what? When Peter came to Antioch, I had to oppose him to his face, for what he did was very wrong. When he first arrived, he ate with the Gentile believers who were not circumcised. So Peter was starting to eat, who knows, a ham sandwich. But afterwards, when some friends of James came, which they weren't, that was deceptive, Peter wouldn't eat with the Gentiles anymore. He was afraid of criticism from these people who insisted on the necessity of circumcision. As a result, other Jewish believers followed Peter's hypocrisy, and even Barnabas, Mr. Encouragement, was led astray by their hypocrisy. Paul had to confront them. Paul had to say, this is wrong. You're teaching that you're saved by what you do, not by the grace of God. Peter had the peer pressure that Peter faced. He was afraid of what people would say back in the courtyard and again in his old age. And Paul, bless his heart, had to confront Peter to his face. God bless people that have the love for you and for me when they confront us in a loving way. Not all the time. It's not our gift to criticize, but it's a gift to give constructive criticism in a loving, gentle, kind way. You might have to do that sometimes. Speak up, speak the truth. And if you are told something, listen to people. Understand that they love you and they're trying to help. Don't always be defensive of what you're doing. Proverbs says this: if you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. But if you listen to correction, you grow in understanding. Fear of the Lord teaches wisdom. Humility precedes honor. Man, just appreciate what your friends around you are saying. And finally, Peter says, stand firm in God's grace. My purpose in writing is to encourage you and assure you that what you are experiencing is truly part of God's grace for you. Stand firm in this grace. Stand firm in the grace of God. As we've gone through this series, Flawed Followers, a few things just stand out to me as I read this book by Pastor Renee Schleffler. Jesus said, I chose you and I choose you now, and I will never unchoose you. I will never let you go. When you blow it, Jesus finds you. You will get unstuck. You will move forward. Focus on your purpose and not on your problems. And when you fail, when you mess up, Jesus is never shocked. Jesus prays for you when you fail, and Jesus welcomes you back when you fail. Just know God loves you. You're going to mess up, but God has chosen you, and he never is going to unchoose you. What a great saying. So no matter where the road leads you, no matter how you stumble, wonder, or fall along the way, Jesus never gives up on you. Jesus never stops loving you, never stops calling you. So listen to him when the frightening storms rage around you, when you are confused, and when you fail miserably, and when surprising opportunities appear, and when you're facing death. Just remember that he says the same thing into your ear. He says, follow me. You're never alone. Just follow Jesus. I had my kids, and they were little. We went to the Disney World, and we had a little break, and we're on a little park-like setting. And my oldest daughter was walking on the wall, and she came back and said, I found a duck. I said, where? She turned around, walked down the road, looked back at me and said, follow my road. Follow my road. And so I followed her, and she showed me the duck. Jesus is saying, follow my road as you journey through life. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great week, and God bless you. Bye-bye.